Alright, hey guys, it's Jack here from Peach Guitars. We're at NAMM 2020 and we've stopped by one of my personal favourite booths, one of the booths I was most excited to see. I'm sure you're going to be most excited to see as well. It also happens to be one of the busiest and the noisiest, so we're going to do a best we can to zip round. We've got Don here from Suhr Guitars, and he's going to very kindly walk us through all of the stuff that's new for 2020, which happens to be quite a lot. So we're going to be as efficient as possible. This man is a pro, so we're going to see how far we get.
All right, thank you so
Don,
much.
so we're standing by what is probably the most beautiful guitar release I've seen this year. We're looking at the Mateus Signature T.
Yes.
So a lot of you guys will know Mateus has had a couple of Signature S-style guitars, example of which is right here, leading nicely into the T. So what's the kind of background here? Obviously, everyone knows Mateus is playing and the kind of versatile player that he is. Tell us a little bit about the T and what's kind of the processes that have gone into it.
Yeah, I mean, Mateus has always loved classic Ts, but the S was always kind of his main guitar. And so Mateus came to us over the course of the past year and expressed an interest in getting a T-style guitar. And so we put this together to figure out what that would look like. It's very similar to the classic S that's finished in black. It's got the black painted Bakelite pickguard, but the gorgeous binding on it just really sets it off nice. Bird's eye maple neck, so super excited about it to add another guitar to Mateus's lineup.
Yeah, I think if anyone deserves it, I think he's the guy at the moment. And you know, it's just such a nice spec. It's nice to see when a T-style guitar is done right with attention to detail for a player as well. It's not just necessarily all about the aesthetics. I'm guessing that a lot of work has gone into kind of shaping the neck for him and the voice in the pickups and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, everything is to Mateus's spec, you know, 100%.
Fantastic. Okay, well, we've got a lot to get through, so we better skim through quickly. We're going to jump over some stuff that you guys will have already seen. So we've got Pete Thorn's guitars on display here. I think they're sporting the new bridge piece now. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's
so
the
we've got a new locking bridge on the Pete Thorn signature model. It's from Wilkinson. It's got locking saddles that basically just help secure the string to the saddle and prevent movement of the string over the saddle. Basically fixing just, you know, a lot of the little tuning instabilities that you get with non-locking bridges. So all of Pete's guitars for this year are coming with the Wilkinson locking bridge, and we've added a new color, which is this garnet red.
Excellent. Okay. Again, anyone who watches YouTube at all will probably have seen this guitar in Pete's hands.
Absolutely.
So yeah, let's carry along. We're looking at a new Andy Wood configuration, right? So
yes, yeah. So Andy has had a modern T with us in 3 different colors: iron red, war black, and the whiskey barrel. And what we've done this year is we've opened up the pickup combinations. In years past, the color dictated what pickups the guitar would get, if it had humbuckers or single coils. And so now we've added additional SKUs, so you can get any of the 3 colors with either classic T's, his woodshed signature single coil pickups, or the humbuckers.
Really nice, and I love these finishes. You know,
it's a torch body.
Yeah, it really stands out, and I really like the black with the classic T arrangement now. So if you were interested, guys, before and the finishes weren't quite for you, you've got some other options now, so that's really nice. Now this is probably the most interesting signature of the year because it's for the man himself. John Suhr's got his own signature, which I would say is probably overdue.
Absolutely.
The guy's been building guitars for everyone else for years, and so what do you think kind of led to this decision to land on this spec for his signature?
This is kind of one of John's favorite configurations, you know. John loves Carina, and so that's what this is built with, a Carina body and neck. It also has the locking Wilkinson bridge. John's really become a fan of that as well, and the black Bakelite pickguard. It's just a really cool design, you know. It's one of those guitars that you may look at the spec sheet on paper and be like, I don't know, you know, how that's going to turn out. And you see it in person, and it's beautiful. Yeah,
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how well this translates to camera, because I think the actual kind of intricacies of the finish and stuff like that.
Yes.
It's not just a red guitar. You said this is Carina wood?
Yes, it is.
So, you know, that's certainly a bit of a left field move for Suhr. I don't know of any other models
We've used it for a long time.
Okay.
But it's not real common on any of our standard production models and anything like this. So this is one of the first, you know, kind of core models, a pre-configured model that has the Carina. We've done some limited runs in the past, but
really nice.
Yeah, we're super excited about it.
Okay, so last of the signature models we're going to focus on for 2020 is another kind of quite surprising turn. Ian Thornley had his signature JMs and now he's moved to the Classic S design. So what sort of prompted that shift?
Yeah, and so Ian still has the JMs. We're still offering the JMs,
right.
and he loves them and is still playing them. But Ian's also a huge fan of classic style guitars. You know, the Classic S, Ian loves it. So one of the inspirations for it, especially with the roughneck, if you notice, the way that the pickup configuration is laid out with the zebras, when you kind of look at it from a distance, it almost looks like it's got 3 single coils in it, and then you get closer to it and it's really got 2 humbuckers, so it's kind of a hidden beast.
Yeah, aesthetically I think it works really well, and it's nice to see the HSH on a Classic as well.
Absolutely, and this guitar does feature 2 push-push switches. On Ian's JM, he's got the mini sliders so that he can do series parallel switches with the humbuckers. So for this, we move them to 2 push-pushes.
Nice. And does this have the same like V-shaped neck profile that carried across from the JM?
Thornley V.
Which, if you haven't played one, is an incredibly comfortable neck profile. And it's not what you expect when you get it in the hand, so that's going to be great to see on a Classic as well. All right, thanks, Don. That kind of wraps up the signature stuff for 2020. We're going to jump in with Andy Wood now and explore some of the rest of the stand. All right, guys, we've managed to grab a few minutes of FaceTime with Mr. Andy Wood here, one of the premier Suhr artists. It's great to see. We just walked through some of the revisions to your signature guitar for this year.
Exactly, yeah.
Maybe you could just elaborate a little more on what you wanted to kind of put into these new finish configurations and stuff like that, and you know where the evolution of your guitar is going to go.
Yeah, it's great. It's actually pretty simple. You know, when we released this model originally, it was humbuckers. You have 2 versions: humbuckers with a 510, and then the single coils with a modified bridge.
Yeah.
And you know, we got so much feedback of people wanting humbuckers in the whiskey. So previously you could only get the whiskey finish with single coils, the black with humbuckers, so on and so forth. Now you can get any finish with whatever pickup configuration you want.
Yeah.
And for example, for NAMM, we made every signature model in the color that it's not supposed to be in, with the correct
just to upset people, just to tease people.
Yeah, but this was actually one of the #1 requests we got. My main guitar is the humbucker version in this black and silver. Okay. And a lot of people were writing in, emailing, messaging me about wanting the woodshed pickups in the black. So we just listened and did it, you know?
And that's something I think, you know, maybe we can touch on quickly is your input with the woodshed pickups.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, you know, you're very well renowned for being a T-style player.
Yeah.
So the pickups are such an important part of that.
Absolutely.
If you could maybe just highlight a few of the factors that go into what you wanted out of a T-style pickup.
Yeah, it's actually really simple. One of the things I'm after is on the low E and A strings, I want those to have that wiry bite, you know? And on the neck pickup, I want them to be glassy and throaty. The problem is on a you know, T-style bridge pickup, once you get that treble response on the bass strings, the top 3 strings slice your head off.
Yeah.
You know, and if you'd be so kind as to hold this.
Yeah, sure.
You know.
I'm going to crudely point this mic at the amp, so hopefully you guys, this is going to translate okay.
So here's the low string. And then on the top 3 strings, it doesn't cut your head off. Right, nice and smooth up top, but the low strings still have that tooth in it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
And so we voiced the neck pickup to be appropriate to fit with it, Yeah,
and obviously, you know, you guys can drop these into any T-style guitar, but I think it's definitely a marriage of a lot of things with your model.
Right.
You know, it's very unusual to see a 24-fret T guitar.
Yeah.
The roasted maple thing is obviously catching on, but that's having a big impact on the tone too. And
it was really important with pickup placement. If you notice in the guitar, the lipstick pickup sits as far north into the as it could possibly be, so it still sounds like an appropriate working man's T, you know.
Maybe you could just give us a little sample of that, if you can,
And then it matches really well with the back. And it never hurts.
Yeah, it really does match, because I think maybe if it is just a tiny bit closer to the bridge, it's got more mid.
And it gets a little awe. Like, you know, when you got a volume pedal on and it's like...
Yeah. So you can do your Michael Schenker thing.
Exactly, right.
Nice, okay.
So, we just wanted this to sound... I wanted it to feel really comfortable and traditional to, traditional telly players, but I wanted it to have all of the things that we designed, the modern amenities, you know what I mean, if you will. Yeah.
Well, I'm a telly guy, so, I love any kind of different take that can be applied to a T-style guitar. I'm always interested to see how it pans out. Yeah. Some are more successful than others, but I think with both of your guitars, the humbucker loaded and the T-style, they just work really well.
Yeah, it's been a home run, and just simple things like from a player aspect of shaving out the bridge, on the ashtray for the hybrid picking, and when you're strumming, that's not hitting your pick anymore. It's just
definitely
small tweaks.
Really, really nice. And let's quickly talk about what's on the other end of this chain.
Excellent.
If you'd be so kind.
Yeah, of course.
We teased you there. We're playing through Suhr's new Hombre amp. So maybe, Andy, if you could maybe explain a little bit about what the amp's background is, and as a player, where you would find use for this kind of amp style too.
Sure. This amp's early 60s, 1963 brown face kind of tweed sound. And it's very 18 watts, some of those traditional things. If I'm not mistaken, Dawn is 6V6 in the power section, like all the traditional 1963 circuitry. Yeah. But, not having reverb allows the tone to be pure, as pure as possible.
Right here as well.
Exactly, right. So there's a tremolo circuit, a normal and a bright. And personally, we live in an era of option paralysis, and this is quite the opposite. It's a tone knob. Left means dark, right means bright.
Sure.
And for me personally, I want to be playing as quickly as possible. I don't want to be messing with things. And we just plugged this in just now and didn't touch anything. Sounds great. I could gig with it.
Exactly, and it marries up so well with your playing style as well. Is this the kind of thing that you'd find you'd probably start to employ in the studio?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like this, like a session environment. Oh man, this that's a bread. This is very much a bread and butter rig. Yeah. The other thing is that amp's so light. It's 32 pounds, if I'm not mistaken, 33 pounds ish. Don't quote me, but it's a true grab and go scenario.
Definitely. And I guess it's going to work well for the guys that maybe if you have a Bella amplifier, or if you considered the Bella and maybe thought it's just a little bit too loud, or
that's the difference. Voicing, at least as for me growing up with those style amps, Bella to me is the bigger, rounder, more bass-spinny type of thing, and this is the more honky, punchy, focused deluxe kind of thing. Yeah. And that's the stuff that I grew up on and where I want things to sit.
Yeah, and I think it's the kind of stuff that we all want to see from John Suhr as well, who's standing right here off camera. But it's obvious that I'm going to speak directly to John.
How about this?
If we may just jump in here, John. Great to see you. We're just talking about the Hombre amp and kind of the development behind it. And I was just going to say to Andy that it's great to see you've got such a lineage with amp design. And you're constantly pushing further and further. You've done the Marshall style stuff, you've done the Fender style stuff, and now you're pushing even further backwards into kind of the history of amps. So what did you want to capture in this amp?
Just the total organic tone of the amp. I mean, you've got a volume and a tone, and the beautiful thing about that amp to me is I can put the volume in 3 or 4, use a single coil, you hear the guitar, you hear the woods, and you use the tone, all the switching that's available on your pickup selector.
Yeah.
It seems the more gain and the more processing you add to a sound, the less you get away from the guitar's tone and just the root thing that's going on. So I wanted to make an American amp that was true to my heart. I am a huge ZZ Top fan. Billy Gibbons, the first 2-3 albums, that's where I grew up learning that music. And funny enough, I always used to think that he played Marshalls and big amps and Les Pauls. No, he played Strats and Tellys and little brown amps, and in the studio, that's what he lived on. And the first time I plugged into that, I was just like, okay,
you realized,
there it is. It's simplicity, and I don't know, it's organic.
You hear the player, and as a player, you hear the difference in the guitar, and you're controlling the sound from the things available. Yeah. Like, here's your channel switcher.
Exactly. It's like
here's your distortion pedal.
You put a single coil on 4, and it sounds like a great, nice semi-breakup. That's the thing that's hardest to get in modeling and in everything else. And in master volume amps, the hardest thing to get is that natural output section compression, and start to hear the tubes and the transformers.
Well, I mean, the proof is always in the player, and as you just said, Andy, it's whoever's playing it's going to come through. You sounded exactly like Andy Wood, despite your mention of ZZ Top and stuff like that. So, you know, maybe it may not appear as the most versatile amp in the world, but actually, the simpler it is,
it's unbelievable. You know, go back to the basics. Like I even look at like Brian May. You know, he used the normal channel of the box. He had a brilliance control and a volume.
Yeah.
And he would augment that, but his tone came from his fingers and the guitar, and it lets it shine instead of mask it.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things as we get older. I know I'm now not trying to play as fast as I once did. It's like when you're young, you look for a tone that helps you sound better, and as you become a better player, you look for a tone that doesn't mask that to where you can control it, you know? And that's where these style amps shine.
Very nice, yeah. And I think that despite that, you run the full gamut of amp tones. You know, you've got amps like the PT, which we'll also talk about a little bit, the PT15 non-IR, so there's a slightly stripped back version of that amp we'll come on to in a moment, but you know, opposite sides of the stage here really speak to everything that Suhr's about. You've got the real simple, back to basics, true, honest amp circuits, and you've got the bleeding edge of, yeah, exactly. So there's an amp for everybody now, even more so if you want something that's compact and just sounds straight to the point.
Yeah, and the nice thing with the PT15 non-IR, you probably already covered, is that there's guys who told me, well, I already have a reactive load and I already have the IRs. I don't want to buy all that again. Right. So that's the reason we decided to do that.
Yeah. So no tweaks to the voicing at all in that amplifier?
No, it's the same amp, just doesn't have the reactive load or IRs.
Nice, okay. All right. Well, thanks, John. I think that covers some of the new amp coverage, although I will say that there's some really nice limited finish amps behind us here as well that we can get a shot of. And
the Bella's on the other side.
Yeah, so we got this really gorgeous like burgundy finish on the Badger and a head shock there. But yeah, I think it's true to form as ever with Suhr. It's just great to see, you know, I'm a massive Suhr amp fan. We cover it a lot on Peach Guitar's channel, and it's just great to see that now it's diversifying even more. And I want to see what comes next.
I watch your videos all the time. They're great.
Well, thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say so. Yeah, it's great to chat with you, John.
Same here.
Thanks a lot. And Andy, great to chat.
Pleasure's mine.
Thank you for demonstrating so perfectly what Suhr products are about. It's great to chat to you both. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you want more info on the Suhr products, of course, check out peachguitars.com. Thanks for watching, guys.